Welcome to the Food on Demand podcast, where we dish up insights on the future of restaurants relating to off-premises operations and the overall digital dining experience, and explore how this dynamic industry is reshaping the way we eat. I'm Bernadette Heyer, Managing Editor.
And I'm Adam Wahlberg, Associate Editor. Food on Demand is your exclusive media source to help restaurant operators meet the digital guests where they are. We also host the annual Food on Demand conference, so mark your calendars for May 5th through 7th at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. You will want to be there. And please be sure to check out our Off-Premises University webinar series and subscribe to our weekly newsletter.
Yes, thank you, Adam. And for our listeners, we've added video so you can also watch and listen along for your enjoyment. But before I get into the guest interview with Sabin Lomac, the co-founder of Cousins Maine Lobster, it's time for our Quick Bites segment, Adam, where we share what's been sizzling in our kitchens lately. So, Adam, take it away.
It's always interesting to me to watch how brands handle loyalty, because that's such a big thing. And the folks at Piatta Italian Street Food, which I want to go to, recently caught my eye because they announced a shift in their loyalty approach. What they had been doing was using a program based on frequency of visits. And, you know, we all know what that's like. You go in 10 times, you get something. And that's perfectly fine, but it started to feel a little stale to Piatta, so they shook it up a bit. Now they're doing something that is exclusively rewarding people based on spending. It's fairly simple, but they've also made it a little bit more sophisticated, where in the past they were just saying, hey, come in X amount of times, we'll give you a $5 rebate. This time, if you spend X amount, you get a whole tiered system. You have 3 tiers of different rewards, and they're more fun rewards. And it was interesting to hear them talk about the strategy behind that. And what they're doing after this is going to be using gamification tools to try to make it fun, doing things like digital badges. They're not quite there yet, but that's the next step for them. So it's always interesting to learn about loyalty. Loyalty is becoming much more important and evolved and creative, I think. So I'm going to keep an eye on Piatta.
Well, I'm glad you highlighted loyalty programs, Adam, as brands are always looking to innovate in that area. And you mentioned gamification, which is becoming more popular among restaurants. And you said Piatta is going to be getting into that, you know, incorporating those game-like elements like point systems and challenges to make dining experiences more fun and rewarding. I dove into that in my last podcast interview with Jeff Alexander Wowbow, who's big into gamification. So check that out if you're interested. But my quick bite today is based on a story you actually wrote, Adam, but something I've been following very closely for the past year, which is the adoption of Sidewalk delivery robots. And now Uber Eats has made a new partnership with robot manufacturer Avride and announced a multi-year partnership for these delivery bots to hit the streets, if not already by the time this airs, in Austin. And they have plans to expand to Dallas and New Jersey City, later in the year, and more cities next year. And Avride has already been working with a handful of Austin restaurants. And, you know, with Uber buddying up to Sidewalks in a partnership with Serve Robotics as well, that's happening in LA, this seems like it makes sense to expand. And yeah, so it's interesting. We're seeing more of these cute little things deliver food around the US. You know, Sidewalk delivery robots are these autonomous ran little vehicles that use sensors and GPS to navigate sidewalks for delivering goods. Consumers place their order through an app and it arrives, and it's becoming more popular. And I can see in the next 5 years or so, common to see one on the street passing by. Adam, what do you think?
I completely agree with you. I would love to see one. Well, you know, for our listeners, we're based in Minneapolis, so at least to my knowledge, we don't have delivery robots yet. And we keep reading these stories about robots in LA and now in Austin. I have robot envy. I want food delivered to me by a robot. I think that would be far out. I want it.
Absolutely, and I think they'll be coming here soon. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Adam. Now it's time that I'll get into our guest interview. All right, now it is time for our guest interview with Sabin Lomac, the co-founder of Cousins Maine Lobster. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready to rock. Let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited to highlight Cousins Maine Lobster. Food on demand is always keeping an eye on anything digital forward, mobile forward, and being a food truck and brick and mortar business. I'm excited to get into that with you today. But before we do, Sabin, I would love to learn a bit more about your background before Cousins Maine Lobster.
Yeah, all right, cool. Glad to tell you. I was raised by a single mom, no brothers, no sisters, no dad. We were from a small little kind of lobstering fishing community in Maine, in Scarborough. It's a suburb of Portland. I grew up with really kind of a modest, humble upbringing, not a lot of money, a lot of love. I started working at the age of 12. My grandfather, who was a 30-year Marine, told me, "You're the man of the house, you got to start working." So my first job was at the clam bake, making fried clams, making coleslaw. And I had about 50 jobs in my hometown. I was a dishwasher, busboy, waiter. I delivered pizzas. I sold sodas on the beach. I
Wow.
flew burgers at Chili's. I sold appliances at Best Buy. I did it all. I put myself through college by working at Morton's of Chicago as a waiter in Manhattan. And I was very much immersed in the food scene. So, grew up working and, never knew that this would happen, but I think I always had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes, and you absolutely do, and we've seen that firsthand here. And so, can you tell me about how you met your co-founder, Jim?
I met him by taking a bath with him when we were kids. He's my cousin. He's the baby of the family. I'm the oldest one. He's the youngest one. And so I think I first met him in diapers, and I've been beating him up ever since. So no, he's my cousin, and we grew up together very close. So that's how we got to know each other.
Right, right. Family business. We love to hear those stories. Tell me about how the idea came about for Cousins Maine Lobster.
The idea came about from Cousins Maine Lobster. Jimmy came out to Los Angeles to visit an ex-girlfriend, and he spent some time with me. I took him out. We went drinking and partying and doing that fun catch-up stuff that guys in their late 20s do. And the more we drank, the more we kind of came up with this idea. We were kind of aiming to do something fun and entrepreneurial. It wasn't meant to be a job. It wasn't meant to take away from our jobs. At the time, I sold real estate and Jim sold medical devices. So it was really more of a passion project. And we woke up the next morning with a terrible hangover. He called me about 2 weeks later and he's like, "Hey, what do you think of that idea?" We worked on it for about 14 months without telling anyone. We didn't want any negativity. We didn't want anyone to tell us our idea was bad. And then we launched a food truck here in Los Angeles in 2012. And as it turns out, it was a good idea and people really, really appreciated it.
Right. And clearly, you mentioned growing up around that area has probably also led to why you wanted to bring the lobster and the seafood to the people.
Yeah. When we were reminiscing about our childhood, we remembered all of our memories and they all kind of revolved around lobster. Lobster was always present. And we didn't think that that was really fancy or special growing up. But now that we're adults, we realize that it is a really celebratory food item. We think of it like champagne. So if you drink champagne, you're kind of celebrating something. If you're eating lobster, you're celebrating something. So our goal was to kind of make people feel like that, to feel good about themselves, to treat themselves in an affordable, casual, approachable way. So that's how we decided on a food truck.
I know you've told this story a lot, but for our new listeners, I'd love to dive into your experience on Shark Tank. I know you pitched on Shark Tank in the fourth season in 2012, about a few months after starting your business, although you just mentioned you were working on it behind the scenes for a while. What was that experience like?
Yeah, we went on Shark Tank 2 months after starting. So we were incredibly inexperienced. We really had no clue what the potential was for our business, but we prepared a lot for the show. We watched about 50 episodes. We had those little white index cards and we were grilling each other on questions and we researched the sharks. The experience was nerve-wracking. It's about an hour you're on the stage pitching. There's no order to their questions. They're just peppering you with question after question after question. So it's super overwhelming and scary and
I'm
wild. But
sure.
we represented I think ourselves well and the state of Maine well, which was our ultimate goal. And yeah, we wanted to deal with Barbara. We got the
Mhm.
deal with the shark that we wanted, and we're very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had an intention of a certain shark you wanted to invest with or have invested with you in, and why was that?
We wanted Barbara. Number one, we're very maternal. We're very close with our moms. She
Mhm.
seemed like a sweet mom, so we
Yes.
liked that. She also was retired, as opposed to a lot of these other guys that were very much immersed in their business, personal businesses, and we felt like she would give a lot of time and energy to us. And we had also heard really good things about her from the producers. That
Sure.
was it. You don't really know how it's going to go. We were worried, is this just a TV show? Is it reality
Mhm.
TV? Is it fake? But the truth is the show is a beast. The producers behind it are fantastic, and they do a really good job in pairing entrepreneurs like ourselves, especially young, inexperienced entrepreneurs, with mega, mega successful people, and they give you a runway to do what we've done. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly love the show, and so I was excited to ask you about it because I haven't heard that firsthand experience yet. So very interesting. And so, how much investment did you get, and how did that help you with the beginning of your business?
We sold 15% for $55,000. So we valued our business at $1 million. We only had 2 months of sales. All the sharks thought that was crazy. Put it in perspective, our company-wide sales is approaching $1 billion in sales since
Wow.
inception. So,
Hmm.
lesson to the listeners out there: don't ever sell yourself short. Um, we didn't need the money. We weren't doing it for 55,000. We were doing it for the mentorship. And so the money we ended up spending 2 years later on financial documents so we could franchise our business, which is what Barbara's recommendation was. And that's been an incredibly successful aspect of our business. We started franchising a little over 2 years in. We've got incredible franchisees and an incredibly successful business. We spent the $55,000 on legal docs and all the things that you need to do to become a franchisor. And more than anything, she just provided us a lot of confidence, and
Hmm.
she reminded us that you can be yourself. I think when you're a young entrepreneur, you think you have to be someone else. You have to be polished. You have to be this experienced person that talks perfectly and knows everything. And Barbara just reminded us that that's not the case. You
Hmm.
can be inexperienced, you can not be polished, and you can still be successful.
Well, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs who listen to our show, so I'm sure that will echo with them as well. So let's get into the franchise model and in general the model of Cousins Maine Lobster. So you have food trucks and some brick and mortar. Can you kind of tell me about the format and what you guys have going?
Yeah, we have, just like what you said, food trucks, brick and
Mhm.
mortars. We have small little independent carts, food carts. Um, our bread and butter has been food trucks. We franchised those initially, and our franchisees have been thriving. We're projected next year to be over 100 total units. The best part is our franchisees and our corporate units, we can go to where the people are. So whether you're
Right.
at a festival, whether you're at your house, whether you're at the bank, whether you're at the grocery store, whether you're at a gas station, we can pull up and go. We have really good alliances and partnerships with, big people like, NFL, and we do Super Bowls, we do PGA events, we do concerts, we do all kinds of fun stuff, but we also just do local breweries and weddings and
Mhm.
birthday parties. So the food truck model has been incredibly successful. It's lean, it's easy to get into, it doesn't cost a lot of money, doesn't it's incredibly smart for emerging entrepreneurs. We also have the current brick and mortar offering, which is
Mhm.
I think awesome. It allows people to get in, have small little footprints. We have one on the Jersey Shore, which is incredibly successful. We have one in San Francisco, right on the water. So really, really good opportunities there. And we also have an e-commerce business, so you can order food
Yes.
online and we ship shore to door. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the e-commerce side is interesting because you can get this fresh lobster shipped across the US, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Yep.
we have lobster that comes right directly from Maine. The bread, the rolls, the soups, the tails, and no matter where you live, you can have it there tomorrow. It's pretty cool. We're really proud of that.
You already talked about, why the food truck model is working so well. Less overhead to start off, as well as you can go anywhere. Anything else you want to add on why the food truck model is so lucrative?
Yeah, I mean, well, I would say not just being lucrative, but let's assume it's lucrative. Let's assume you're doing well and you want to get a second unit. You can open up a second unit as fast as you can build a truck, which in our case is a matter of months.
Hmm.
As opposed to the brick and mortar, traditionally, let's just say you have a fantastic location in brick and mortar and it's doing incredibly well, and you want to open a second location. What's that like? Well, first of all, you have to find the location, which is incredibly
Right.
difficult. And there's no timeline on that. Then once you get it, you have to go in the LOI process. You have to do the permitting process. You have to do the build out process. You have to open it. I mean, it could take years.
Yes.
So for our franchisees that open and they're in New Jersey or Charlotte or Raleigh or Texas, and they're doing well, they can just snap their finger and in a couple months have a second unit and have a third unit and have a fourth unit and have a fifth unit. We have a guy in Chicago that signed and opened in, I think, 87 days, 83 or 87 days, something along those lines. It's pretty incredible. He had a $560,000 month in sales out of a food truck. $560,000 that some people do in a year, he did in a
Yeah.
month. So he's able to go to where the people are, and then he's able to return home. So his overhead is incredibly low, his payroll is incredibly low, and if he does well, which he's doing, he gets to scale quickly.
Right. And as you mentioned, not only are you at festivals or sporting events, but just breweries. And I can attest, and in Minnesota, Minneapolis, we have a ton of breweries and the food truck, whenever they come to.
We're opening in Minnesota. We're going to open there.
That's what I heard, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited to actually try it out and go in person. I will do that. But yeah, food trucks coming to a brewery, coming to anywhere, changes the ambiance, And do you want to talk a bit about how, these mobile formats can create that sense of community?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we franchised. We really wanted to instill the sense of community. And I don't know Raleigh and I don't know Dallas, but I know that the
Hmm.
people we franchised with do. We give back to the communities. We do a lot of community events. So on top of just that, but it's just a really fun thing to gather. So like if it is a brewery and it's in the south end of Dallas, I don't know. You're
Hmm.
going to get your friends in that area. You're going to call them and say, hey, let's go get some beers. Let's go get some lobster. This is a fun thing to do on a Saturday or a Sunday. Let's get together. And it's just fun, and I think that's
Hmm.
what people find with our concept is the food is a 10. The food is exceptional, which is a huge, it's really the hardest part. But on top of that, it makes people feel good. And I think that when we immerse ourselves in the community and we go from event to event, location to location, people come out and they feel good. They feel good about where they live. They're thankful that we're there. We're thankful that they're there. It's a really
Hmm.
nice mutual feeling. So it definitely fosters a sense of community, and food trucks are able to do that. Food brings people together, especially when
Yes.
it's really good food.
Hmm. I want to talk a bit about your mobile app and your loyalty. Knowing that you're always moving locations, clearly this technology is really important for the brand. Can you tell me a bit about that and just how you aim to attract guests through your app and through your loyalty?
Do you want to meet the guy who did it all?
Sure, sure.
Come on, Jameson. So Jameson he doesn't like to be on camera. So I just wanted you to see him so you can say hello. Yeah. Oh, he said he loves to be on camera. This is Jameson.
Hello.
Jameson was the brains behind the mobile app, behind the loyalty
Okay.
program. And what I can say about it is it's been a game changer for us. It's a way for our people to find us, to order ahead, to skip lines,
Yes.
to create loyalty points, to be able to save money, and to experience Cousins Maine Lobster differently. Did I articulate that correctly?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add about that?
No, I mean, it's just, we try to take a tech forward approach. We try to get people onto our loyalty program, give them benefits by using it, whether it's mobile ordering, earning loyalty points, anything like that. And then, yeah, it's just always seeing how we can give a better customer experience with our technology at our food trucks and restaurants. So
How do you
Perfect.
do? It was pretty good there, huh?
There
For
we
a guy
go.
who doesn't
Yes.
like to be on camera.
You can tell he built it, right? Or he
He
designed
is. He's the man.
it.
He's the man. Thanks,
thanks,
Jama.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah, no, he was the brainchild behind it, and the cool part is we launched. I mean, I'll say cool, but the timely thing is we were prepared to launch as COVID was hitting, so we were able to utilize that to go to neighborhoods, not business, not businesses anymore, since everyone was home, and allow people to pre-order and socially distance, and in a safe, effective manner. So it really helped.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I guess that was lucky that your guys' model was mobile during that time when brick and mortars were closing doors.
Truly. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was, it's hard for us to sound in any way positive about such a negative situation.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is it speaks to the versatility of our business. And, in that instance, it allowed for people who were home, like me, to get
Hmm.
out in a safe manner and still kind of have some semblance to normalcy, which was mentally very much needed.
Yes, yes. So switching gears a bit into the sustainability side of your business, I know that's a very important part of Cousins Maine Lobster and with your sustainable fishing practices.
Correct.
How do you guys aim to kind of uphold that responsibility, or what is your kind of outlook on that?
Well, we it's to uphold it, we have to uphold it because the state of
Absolutely.
Maine upholds it. So it's not a choice, but it is a privilege, for us to be serving Maine lobster, and we're very honored to be supporting the men and women that are in the Maine lobster fishery from the state of Maine that work their butts off, and sustainable efforts and ways to like just give back to the fishery and to uphold the fishery's future is imperative. So, I don't know if people know, but when you pull up a lobster trap, every lobster is hand measured by the lobsterman on there. About 88% of the lobsters that are caught get thrown back into the ocean due to sustainable efforts. So 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 80, you pull up 10 lobsters, you're like, woohoo, 9 are going back, 8 are going back. It's
Interesting.
it's because the big ones are too big. We want them to continue to breed, and the small ones are juveniles, and we want them to grow. It's an effort to maintain this our fishery for the future. So we're incredibly proud. It's a story that we need to continue to tell to our consumers throughout the country as to why this is special and why the prices are where they are.
Hmm.
So if you're getting a lobster roll in Vegas or Sacramento, the lobster traveled a long way, and there's a lot of things that go into actually catching that and serving it. So really proud of what we do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for touching on that. It's always something I like to ask with businesses.
For sure.
All right. So, what is the outlook for growth and what's next for Cousins Maine Lobster?
I'll tell you. Esther, come here. Ashley, come here. Come on. This is Esther.
Hello.
Hello.
This is her best friend, Ashley. Okay, so they are the future of Cousins Maine Lobster.
Okay. Love to see it. I love to see it.
So if it goes well, you can thank them. If not, they're in charge.
Got it. I'll remember this.
The truth is, those two ladies, what they're in charge of is a lot of the franchise aspect and a lot of the
Okay.
franchise work that we do, supporting our franchisees, making sure that our franchisees thrive, make money, are in compliance, are happy, are healthy, all of those things that go into it. But the future is more of what we do, truthfully. We have an incredible corporate team of young men and women throughout Los Angeles, Ohio, and in Maine. And we're dedicated to getting better. We're dedicated to continue growth, and serving more lobster. That's truthfully it. But, we like to make people happy, and we're proud of what we serve. And I think that's like the most pivotal part of this is a lot of people do things for money. We do it for money. We like to make money, but that's not the core motivation. The core motivation is we really are proud of our business. And when you do things the right way, more money comes. So more of everything. That's the future.
Thank you so much, Sabin. Before we wrap up here, I would like to go into our little fun segment we do, which is Did You Leave Room for Dessert?
Let's
Where
do
I
it.
just I ask you a few random questions to get to know you a bit outside of the Cousins Maine Lobster universe.
Ask away.
All right, so we're going to start off with what are you doing for fun if you have free time, and what do you like to do?
Oh, it's awesome. If I love to do free thing. I love to do free time stuff with my kids. I have a little boy and a little girl. I like to play with them and take them places. When I'm not with them, it's the fall. My favorite thing to do is watch football on Sunday. I'm a huge football fan, so I'm not a TV guy, but I could watch football for 10 hours and just eat terribly. I love to surf. I love to golf. I like to work out. I like to see my friends and travel.
Yeah, well, I love that. Thank you. And that was what I was going to ask is, what's some of your favorite places to travel? And, do you get to go there often?
No, I'm going to Cabo this weekend with my wife. I like going to Cabo.
Love it.
I like to go to Italy. I'm Italian. I love to go to Italy.
Okay.
And I'm going to start making an initiative to start taking my family once a year somewhere we've never been.
I love that.
So there's just too many places in the world to not go. So I'm a huge fan of going places I know and I love, but I also need to get a little more, uncomfortable and go places I've never been. So I'd say the easy answers are like Mexico and Italy. I'm taking my family to Turks and Caicos this year.
Ooh, that'll be amazing. That'll be amazing. Is there surfing there or?
No surfing.
No. Oh, I don't know.
a lot of drinking on the beach. I think I'm going to be really good at that.
Love it. Love it. All right, Sabin. Well, those are my few fun questions. Is there anything I didn't cover that you wanted to add or
No, I just
anything
say
else at all?
a couple things from Cousins Maine Lobster standpoint. If you're interested in anything aspect of our business, you can go to our website, our social media. You can find us. And in regards to entrepreneurs, if you're listening and you're out there and you have an idea, don't let anyone tell you that your idea isn't good. Don't let anyone tell you. Don't ask too many people. The more people you ask, the more opinions you're going to get. So if you really believe in what you do, number one, do it. Number two, don't be scared, be fearless. And number three, be the best. Don't be mediocre. If whatever you're doing is mediocre, you won't be successful. But if you do something and you're the best and you strive to be the best, you will succeed. So it sounds corny, man. I have kids and I tell my boy all the time, you can do anything you want. And as I'm saying it, it sounds kind of corny, but it is really honestly the God's hand truth.
Well, I appreciate those last words of wisdom, Sabin, and thank you so much again for joining me, and I hope to talk to you soon.
I take care. Hope you find our truck when we open. Make sure you're there.
I will.
I'll be there for the opening, so come find me when I'm there.